When students are given the opportunity to learn in an educational system that's intentional about engaging and advancing equity, those students then grow up to be our future educators, our policymakers, and our world changers. Students are on the ground right now, being affected by the inequity in our educational systems. They don't really have a choice to be engaged or not in these difficult environments and conversations. And I think that's why their voice matters most. We must use their stories as well as our own experiences to show the impact of the system that we have now and the system that we want to have in the future.
So often I ask students about, do you see yourself reflected in the curriculum? And many of them tell me they've never read a book about their culture in all of their careers in public education. If you look at our high school textbooks, they're definitely written from one perspective. They're not written to understand that there's always been tremendous diversity in this country. And so I think that it's really critical that we have a curriculum that reflects the diversity of stories and histories that are part of our culture and our background. But I also think it's really important that students see themselves represented in the curriculum, that they have opportunities to learn in ways that really value who they are and affirm who they are, that they don't have to give up their language and culture in order to be successful in schools. You know, if you look at new teacher standards in the state of Washington, there's a strong emphasis in terms of equity pedagogy. How do we help new teachers really be able to teach for the success of all of their students and really close the opportunity gap?
The kids that I've had, we were talking about doing college visits and stuff. I was able to take every one of my kids that wanted to go on a college visit. They stepped on campus, and I mean, just the smiles on their faces when they were walking on campus and looking and saying, this is a place that I never saw myself. I never thought I could be here. I can see myself actually being here for the next 4 years and actually being successful and moving on to a career that I also never saw myself doing, because these are students of color that never saw themselves reflected in the classroom either, right? And so for them to have those opportunities that they wouldn't otherwise have is crucial for them continuing on after high school, to be able to see themselves there. I mean, seeing other people like you that come from similar backgrounds and envisioning yourself there. And those kids that I'm talking about are there right now. Freshman year in college, looking forward to a teaching career.
In order to build the education community that we would like to see, it requires change on every level. From a policy standpoint, to a systemic standpoint, to a student's unique experience, whether that would be in a K through 12 classroom or in their educational preparation programs. So how do we make this change, right? We must advance equity in teacher preparation programs and grow a more diverse educator workforce to be able to meet the diverse needs of our classrooms.
Equity in education is important because it gives us the opportunity to imagine a future where every single child is being served and is feeling loved and is feeling welcomed. And I think that some of the other professional development that we get as teachers helps us with maybe some of those pieces, but that act of imagining that future, that act happens in and around equity work. Equity work helps us really truly imagine what we could have for the future for our kids and for ourselves.
That bilingual education is very important because not every student speaks English. Bilingual education is now a huge necessity because the huge diverse population that we have in classroom is making us as educators to open our ears and make us learn something about every single student in the classroom. Give your whole to the student. Give them what they need. Not just pencils, artifacts. Give your whole person. Understand them. Ask them. Create this authentic relationship.
I would say that probably my favorite part about being a teacher is that I feel like I'm a really good role model for students. Obviously here at my school we have a really high Latino population, and so for me it's important for my students to be able to see themselves in roles as I have as a teacher. And we have amazing staff here, but we lack teachers of color. And so, especially with our population, I feel like I fit that role.
We all have our own experiences, and the work continues to evolve. And we hope today that we can all be vulnerable and share our own unique stories, because collaboration is key to this work. And by working together, we can build bridges that will help us dismantle barriers in our educational communities.